Are they playing politics with this stimulus money? Let's ask Adam Smith, the Democratic representative from Washington, and Glenn Thompson, who will be joining us in just a moment, a Republican congressman from Pennsylvania. All right, first of all, let me just ask you, all right, I understand that we do have Thompson, so thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on. Let me ask you first, Representative Thompson, the American people, as you point out, are hurting, and they are waiting for the government to bail them out, and that's what President Obama promises to do, especially when it comes to giving out more jobs. And the unemployment rates right now are at an all-time high. Should any GOP governor or senator deny their citizens this money that's rightfully theirs?
Well, I think each governor's got to look at this on their own and make that decision. As far as what this bill that's now law, in fact, I refer to it as the Stim-u-less package. I see it as something that was too little, too late, and too much. Too little of the things that really would stimulate jobs. The economists that I've spoken to talked about tax cuts, talks about spending on infrastructure spending, specifically highways and bridges, and all those were cut significantly in the final package. Too late. The money's not going to hit the economy. 10% in 2009, maybe 50% by the end of 2011, and frankly, just way too much of programs that had absolutely nothing to do with stimulus, just wasteful spending as a part of this.
I want to read an email here. Ruth Thomas from Kentucky writes, "Dear Fox News, of course Republican governors who opposed the $8 billion plan should accept any bailout money they can get because the citizens of their states will be paying off the debt. Certainly the Democrats will not be paying off the debt alone. Everyone will have to pay the taxes to get rid of the deficit. So those who have to pay off the debt ought to get some of that money." 3 Republican votes doesn't necessarily make this bipartisan. And, obviously President Obama was unsuccessful in trying to get more Republicans on his side. My question is, is this sort of political play for all these Republican leaders in different states? Bobby Jindal, for example, says that he may take some of the money, not all of it. I almost think it's almost selfish at this point for anybody to deny people of their states the money.
Well, I think you really struck on an important chord. The fact is that this package is going to put about $7 per paycheck in each taxpayer's per week in their pay, but it's going to result in driving the national debt up to over $12.5 trillion. There are some good parts to it, unfortunately not enough. Certainly the tax cuts and the spending, the infrastructure, highway spending, and so those are projects that would be very positive. The problem with the spending bill is that the spending went to over 80 different programs. 32 of them were new programs, and so there is a lot of wasteful spending that unfortunately is going to drive our national debt up to the point where unfortunately, my background is as a healthcare professional. I learned my first rule was do no harm. I'm very afraid that this particular stimulus package is going to do nothing than worsen and lengthen the recession we're looking at, and we could really be looking at some significant inflation. It could take us back to the Jimmy Carter years. All
right, we wanted to have Adam Smith, a Democratic representative from Washington, on, but we had technical problems, so I wanted to stay fair and balanced here and sort of challenge you as to the ups on this, and that a lot of people are looking forward to this money. It's already voted through, so there's really nothing that the GOP can do now to reverse it, so you might as well take advantage of the money. If they don't take it, some other state will.
Well, that's true. This money is going to be spent, unfortunately, not in a time frame to stimulate the economy, but it's going to be spent over maybe even a decade or decades with some of the new programs. So, we know that Americans are hurting. There's no doubt about that, and there was a need for decisive action. Right. However, decisive action doesn't mean just taking a large sum of money, throwing it at the wall, and hoping that it sticks. Decisive action means doing the right thing. And this package, while it has a little bit of what's good, it's got a whole lot of what's bad and will be bad for our country going forward.
A whole lot of pork. All right, Congressman Glenn Thompson, thank you very much for talking to us. We're going to have much more on this story tomorrow.